All right, dearly beloved, welcome to, I think, the 41st installment of Thriving in Business Without Social Media. My name is Bradley Morse. I'm the founder of Majik Media, Magic Kids, which is our audio entertainment and app company, Fair Pay Publishing, and Play Chi Ball. I have been a full-time entrepreneur and creator for more than 20 years. And I've made a whole lot of magic in the world that aligns with my passions, my values, my gifts, and trying to build the more beautiful world that we all believe is possible and we all desire. And if you are here because you find yourself burning out on the post and hope slot machine marketing strategy, if you find yourself spending 10 hours a week, 5 hours a week, 20 hours a week, whatever it is, you're probably spending way too much time on social media and you're not building your email list. You're not growing an audience truly, and you're probably not generating a whole lot of revenue from those particular streams. And so, the intention of this workshop is to blow your mind. That is what I am here for, is to blow your mind with value by sharing everything that I've learned about that's the wrong slide, how do you thrive in business without social media? Um, so I'm going to take you through a little bit of my story, a little bit around my school of thought on what it actually takes to grow a thriving, sustainable business around your passions and your gifts without social. And you're going to learn how to do this yourself. You're going to learn 19 of the relationships-based marketing strategies that we've actually implemented here at Magic Media and in my other businesses, and you're going to be able to apply them to yourselves. By the end of it, my hope is that you choose two and you give yourself a 90-day cleanse from social media and you implement two of these strategies to rock out in your business, and I guarantee you're going to find way better results once you get off. So, the first question I always like to ask is, why do you want to get off social media? What's your big why? Because if the why is not big enough, you're not going to make any changes at all. I can guarantee it. Common people usually tell me when they come to this workshop that they just feel drained. It distracts them. It doesn't align with the lifestyle that they want to live. They're not getting the results that they want from being on social media. And that they see the division that it creates in the world. I recently heard a stat. I have no idea if this is real or not, but something like 80% of the accounts now on social media platforms are actually bots and AI bots and all that sort of stuff. So there's this new theory around like the dead internet, around like we're not going to be able to tell if we're engaging with real humans soon enough. In fact, probably right now. So that's why I love leaning into human relationships. So, next question, how much do you enjoy being on social media? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being you couldn't imagine living without it. You love it so much. You enjoy all the time you're spending there. 1 being you absolutely hate it. The average number for this particular question for people that come onto this workshop is a 4 or less. And so if you're above a 4, you're a bit of a unicorn. And if you're less than a 4 and you still continue to do social media, let this be your intervention. You need to get off because there's better things you could be doing with your time, energy, creativity, resources, and gifts. So here's the magic formula that I made up. How much money do you know you can track from the social media time that you're spending there, through clients, through coaching, through selling your programs, your products, etc.? How much money can you guess you made in the last 30 days on social media? Divide that by the number of hours you spend on social media. So the average person that comes to this workshop is putting in about 10 hours a week, and that's scrolling, posting, commenting, liking, just like going into a trance state where all of a sudden 2 hours passes, etc. So for you, how much time are you putting on social media? So if you say, pretend you made $1,000 a month, my guess is you probably aren't making $1,000 a month on social media unless you're spending a bunch of money. And you divide that by the hours you're spending. So say 40 hours a month at 10 hours a week on social media platforms. And that would be a $25 an hour job. My guess is your professional services that you charge people money for, you charge more than $25 an hour, right? If the answer is yes to that question, then you need to get off social media. This is the wake up call that you've been looking for. You're getting paid a minimal job amount of money for your time and energy. And you could either hire somebody to do that job for you and do all your posting and commenting for you, or just abandon ship altogether. It's up to you. So for me, why I left social media, I had one of those mountaintop moments 8 years ago. My son was just born. Magic Media was in a new phase where I'd finally figured out a way to basically marry my inner artist and my inner entrepreneur. And I was living a pretty new and exciting chapter. And I was standing on top of a mountaintop by myself, and I was watching the sunset, and I was reflecting about all the good things happening in my life. And I had this moment where I caught myself pre-writing the post I was going to put on Facebook later on that evening when I got home. And in that moment, I left the present moment and I realized that my brain had been hacked. And that moment was now Mark Zuckerberg's moment. Facebook owned the moment. It wasn't mine anymore. And to me, that felt extremely invasive to my privacy, to the sacredness of just being on the mountain and enjoying my life. And that wasn't the first straw, that was the final straw. I'd created a group on Facebook way back then that would had been up for like 3 years called Evacuate Social Media. And I'd been thinking about it for a long time. And that was the day where I was like, I'm done. And I went home, told my wife, I'm deleting my accounts. I reached out to all the people I cared about, and I left. And that felt mighty liberating and absolutely terrifying. Um, the reasons I left are probably similar to the reasons you want to leave. Rather than connect us, it divides us. That's very clear to see. Rather than being inspired, we feel more anxious. People feel anxiety all the time these days, which I remember that wasn't a thing back in the olden days. Rather than building friendships, we get followers. And when you think about the psychology of that, it's kind of strange. Rather than creating more connection, we have more loneliness than ever before. It creates the illusion of connection. Rather than feeling safe to share our thoughts, we censor them, or they're censored for us by Big Brother. Thank you very much. And rather than being free, we become addicted to our devices, which is the opposite of freedom when we become enslaved to the thing, to constantly be looking at it, scrolling, waiting, wanting, wishing for our opportunity to show up in our inbox. So leaving was absolutely terrifying. As I said, I built a new branch of my business. I had a new business partner. There was a lot of reasons why leaving was stupid, and there was a lot of reasons why leaving was absolutely divine and perfectly the right thing to do. And for me, when I left, it wasn't like all of a sudden I started getting text messages all the time. People call me, "Yo, Brad, I saw you left. Where'd you go?" It was literally months of crickets. We were pretty new to the island we live on here, Salt Spring Island, British Columbia, on the west coast of Canada, kind of Canada's Hawaii. And so we were still like just starting to build community around us. I had a newborn son. I'm a dad. I like being active, and I didn't have a lot of friends. And I wasn't getting invites to parties. I wasn't getting invited to any potlucks or anything like that. It was really, really, really lonely. Um, And so I accidentally started a men's group called Man Ventures, and every Tuesday for 6.5 years, we met. And whatever guy showed up decided the adventure we'd do the following week. And I built an incredible brotherhood. We had over 200 adventures. We did annual retreats. We would chop wood for each other when one of the guys was having a baby. And we built real community. My wife did a very similar thing. She created a mothering community called the Mama Hive on Salt Spring Island. And over the course of 8 years, that grew to, I believe, 1,200 women. Both of us just passed the torch in this last year to those groups, but both of those experiences taught us a lot about what it means to create a village and tend a village. And all of those life lessons I have then channeled into my business. And I want to build a business that feels village like, that instead of needing thousands and thousands of fans and followers, I could build my dream business in less time with a handful of strategic relationships that just feel really good. And so that is a big piece of what I'm going to talk to you today about is like, how do you strategically do the thing that leverages relationships and find that mutual sweet spot of goodness that we're all looking for in partnerships? So one of the lessons that I have learned is that the world does not need more social media. We don't need more platforms. We don't need a better platform than all the platforms that exist. What we need is more social connection. We need to be getting together. We need to be connecting. We need to be humans together again. You remember the good old days when we were just humans being humans? That's what we got to get back to. So, my question for you, because again, if the why is not big enough, you're not changing a damn thing. I can guarantee you're going to be inspired by this workshop. You're going to walk away and you're going to go back to scrolling social media and getting the same mediocre results you're always getting. If you really want a breakthrough, you need to have a big why on the other side of leaving social media. So, what would you do with all the extra time? Let's pretend you're doing 10 hours a week, 40 hours a month. 500-ish hours a year. That's 500 freaking hours. And my guess is you complain all the time that you don't have enough time to do the things that you love, your passions, your hobbies, the things that you say you'd love to do someday, one day, if that day would come, if only you had enough time or you had enough money. But you do have enough time because you're wasting it scrolling that damn phone of yours. And so this is your wake up call. This is what we're here for. Do you want a thriving business? Do you want to reclaim your time? Do you want to get off social media truly? If the answer is yes, what are you going to replace all that time with that you spent scrolling? What's your answer? I've played over 3,000 rounds of golf in the last 12 years. I go on adventures with my son every afternoon. I have read in the last 2 years 5 giant novel sets. I go to lakes, I swim, I exercise, I walk my dog, I have days with my wife. I wake up early and enjoy sunrises most days. This is a good life. My work days have completely transformed. Back before I left social media, my work days were averaging 12 hours a day. I was one of those hardcore hustlers. And now it's usually I start work at 9:30 and I'm done 3:30, 4 o'clock. Revenue's gone up every year. Launched a new sport in the world called Play Chi Ball at playchiball.com. Golfing, adventures, all the good things, all the things that I was dreaming and wishing I could have back then. It didn't take a lot more money to build my lifestyle to be what it is. It just took reclaiming my time, my energy, my focus, my creative capacity, and all of that was being sucked from my brain because of the stupid mindless scroll. The dream that if only I create the perfect post, everybody will know who I am and all my problems will be solved. Do you know the stupidity in that plan that most people are operating with? It is absolutely ridiculous that you can create the perfect post one day out of the thousands of posts you've already made, and then you'll hit the jackpot, everybody know who you are, all your problems will be solved. That's like walking into a casino, playing the slot machines all day long, and dreaming and planning and hoping and knowing you're going to walk out and you're going to go buy your dream house after that. It's a terrible plan. It's not the right strategy for your business. I can guarantee you that. And so it's time for a change. That's why we're here today. So, how do you build a business without social media? How do you succeed? I have one word for you. This word has been my mantra ever since leaving. This is the way that I lean into business with people that I work with. And that word is relationships. How do we get back to relating human to human, creator to creator, entrepreneur to entrepreneur, business owner to business owner? How do we find the sweet spot, that synergistic sweet spot where we all walk away from the deal or the exchange feeling like we won? That's the whole mission in this. So, here are the 19 relationships-based marketing strategies that we use at Majik Media, Majik Kids, Play Chi Ball, and all the other projects, the consulting projects that we work on, the ways that we do launches, the ways we build communities that feel like villages. This is it right here. Number one, email marketing. We all know email marketing, but do you embrace it to the fullness of why and how it can serve your audience and your business? If you're on my email list, you'll see I'm active. I used to do 3 posts a day on social media. Now I send 2 to 3 emails, coaching related, value providing for the entrepreneurs on my email list to serve and support them. This is my freebie. It's a podcast, it's YouTube channel. It's Substack, it's newsletter. I do that actively 2 to 3 times a week, providing value to my people, responding to the emails when people reply to me. And that is how I show up in service. And it is so fulfilling. 2 weeks ago, I had a full day to myself and I said, what would be fun? I sent out an email to my email list and said, I have the availability today to coach you in my inbox. Send me your problems, send me your questions. What are you struggling with right now? Let me know, and I will respond to you today. And I got at least 25. I'm not 100% sure. I did 25 plus coaching emails to people based on their problems, sending them resources, letting them know what to check out, giving them my best advice I could possibly give them. And it was so satisfying. Email marketing. If you're sending one email a month, it's not enough. At least a weekly email. And if you don't know what to say, which is ridiculous, you should know what to say. You have so many stories from your life. You have so many stories from people that you've worked with. You have so many stories that have helped you develop the point of view, the school of thought that you stand in. And if you don't, you need to take some time to think about the stories you could be telling because stories are powerful. And if you need help with that, I have a storytelling course in the Majik Media course library, MAJIK, media.com/courses. No, slash library. That's the one. And you can find all the courses there or all the stories there that are inside of you. So, email marketing. Double down on what you're doing on the email marketing space. If you're doing once a month, do twice a month to start. If you're doing once a week, try twice a week. You'll be amazed. My engagement rate in my email list, when I went from a weekly newsletter to 2 to 3 times a week, has gone up, not down, because I'm in people's consciousness. When people are having a problem, you want them to think of you first. And in order to have them think of you first, you have to give them some breakthroughs, and they need to see you present in their life consistently, regularly, all the time. That's the way it works. So you need to be on their minds. So double down on your email list. Number two, signature workshops. Every single coach, creator, teacher, educator, transformation facilitator needs a signature workshop. So what's a signature workshop? This is a signature workshop. Welcome to my accidental signature workshop. I wasn't planning to teach this workshop 41 times thriving in business without social media. But what happened is the first time ever I taught it, my buddy Tad from marketingforhippies.com asked me to teach a workshop on how I was growing my business without social media. And we had 1,100 people sign up. It's 1,100 email addresses. When was the last time social media gave you 1,100 email lists or email subscribers without spending a fortune on ads? Probably never, guaranteed never. And so when we had that massive success, I was like, I need to take this show on the road. This is clearly something people want. And so I've kept delivering this workshop again and again. It's grown my email list by over 6,000 people with like minimal effort. I just keep tweaking and improving the workshop, but that's it. And we built in the process, we built a whole system around it that we teach coming up in September. I'll tell you in a moment. And we teach the system. But what goes into a signature workshop is important. It needs to be 60 minutes, not 90 minutes, because you get way more signups with 60 minutes than you will 90 minutes. It's just an easier commitment. So the first thing is your story. So the backstory of who you are, we have a whole formula that we teach in our course around like how do you tell your good story in just as short amount of time as possible because it's about them, it's not about you, but your story creates context. Your story also helps to ground into the whole point of the workshop, which is your philosophy or your school of thought or what it is that you know to be true based on your experience and based on the work that you do in the world. And then the main part of the workshop, the whole purpose of the workshop is to transform people's lives. And that means giving them their first breakthrough experience. So it could be a coaching process, a guided meditation. It's some form of breakthrough experience that gives them a taste of what it's like to work with you. And then at the end of the workshop, you take a few minutes and you call them to adventure. If you want more of this, come on the mountaintop with me. Let's go get you the ultimate transformation that I can provide you based on where you are now, where you want to go, and what it is that I do. And so this is, years ago, we took the sales funnel, which felt really gross, and we flipped it upside down and it looked like a mountain. And so this is how it works is you get traffic. So that's your blog. If you have a podcast, if you do social media, great. Um, all the things. So you're sending traffic to your signature workshop. That's the base camp of your mountain where you kind of lay out the ultimate transformation you facilitate, and you are the metaphorical mountain guide who leads them to the top. And then at the end of your signature workshop, you call them to adventure. Maybe you've got like a coaching package, or you've got an audio library, or a course, or a membership, and you give them one or two or three options on like, hey, here's how we get to the top of the mountain. Fastest way, medium way, slowest way, which is also the cheapest way. And people can decide if they want to take the next steps with you. And then you just tour the same workshop again and again and again and again. And you keep making it better and you keep finding more partners to host you. And it is the simplest, most scalable, satisfying marketing strategy because you teaching and transforming other people's lives is the best way for them to get to know whether or not they want to hire you or go hike this mountain with you. So, every one of you needs a signature workshop training. And that brings us to our special little commercial break. So, bear with me. Tad Hargrave and I from Marketing for Hippies, this is our third year running the Thriving in Business without, or sorry, the Craft and Tour. This is Thriving Business with social media. The Craft and Tour Your Signature Workshop training. Last year we had, I believe, 157 people join this training. And in 90 days, we're going to share the whole system and process with you. It's from September 10th to December 17th. The price is going up on July 1st, so get in now. On August 1st, it goes up to the full price of $14.95 because the early bird will be over. And Tad and I believe that this is the most powerful strategy. On the page, you can check this section out here. It's around how do you make $88,000 with your signature workshop. And it's based on this whole formula that we create. Don't need to get into it now. You can check out the page to learn what that is. But essentially, what we do in the course of the 90 days is you get really clear on your niche. So you're teaching the right workshop to the right people with the right transformation. You design the workshop. So you come up with the whole outline for what it's going to be. You craft your offer, your landing pages, your marketing emails in the third session. The fourth session is like, as you can see, this particular presentation is professionally put together. We're going to teach you how to make a pro presentation with beautiful slides that offers a creative aesthetic that people actually want to pay attention to. And then you're going to learn how to market your workshop properly. Everybody delivers their workshop to test audiences in the beginning. So last year, a lot of people exchanged. I'll go to your workshop, you go to mine, you gather feedback, you try and do 2 to 3 test runs of your workshop, and then we teach you how to tour it, how to build a proper media page, how to outreach, how to research the right places to go, and then we have a big Q&A and celebration at the very end of it. And then you enter into 2026 on fire, ready to tour a workshop. We have one person in my Magic Mind right now, and we're doing an interview with her on July 1st, Cynthia from Mindful Creative Muse, and she's gone all in. She's done about 400 outreach emails. She's booked 40 different signature workshops, if not more now. Her last two that she did in May grew her email list by over 1,500 people. Think about what 1,500 extra people on your email list would do for you today. That's a lot of extra people. That's a lot of extra people to become coaching clients or to buy your products and programs. And she still has 30 something more workshops to do. She's also been working on multiple licensing contracts with bigger companies that want to license some of her body of work that she's been developing. So many opportunities come from this. Why? Because you're leaning into relationships and you're finding those beautiful sweet spots where everybody wins. And if you want to join that Craft and Tour Your Signature Workshop training, sign up today because the price is going up. It's at magicmedia.com/signature dash workshop. It'll be in the show notes wherever you're watching this video as well. And I would love to serve and support you in there. I'm very active in the community space during that, offering feedback and coaching. And it's a powerful experience. And by the end of it, you will have your signature workshop and all of your systems set up so you can tour it next year. What a dream. What a dream. And you can get the heck off your silly social media and enjoy your life. So, next step, let's go. Thanks for the commercial break. Yeah, here's all the details. Next one, licensing. I have not heard anybody talk about this other than me. Um, Little backstory, between 2009 and 2012, I taught more than 500 meditation workshops. I did retreats around the world, Peru, Hawaii, Mexico, and more. And at the end of that, I got pretty burnt out from teaching too much meditation, funny enough. And I decided to give the internet a try. I produced a world-class audio meditation library, and then I found licensing partners. I licensed it to Mind Valley first. I quickly grew to become their number one meditation guide on the platform for on Omvana, their meditation app for years and years, like 6 years in a row. Like every week I was in the top and that led to a lot of passive income, grew audiences, and then I started getting all these other apps reach out to me because of the success of that. I've reached millions of people, at least 3 millions of meditators through my audio library, generating over $500,000 of pure passive income. I never had to build a meditation audience. It just grows for me, like every month for 8 years, passive income flowing in. Every quarter for some of them. I have another one that pays me about $12,000 every October. And licensing is one of the biggest opportunities for creators that are doing high quality work. And that's what we teach you at Magic Media is like, how do you do shit that's really good that a big company is going to be like, I want that? With Magic Kids, we're building world-class audio stories, voice actors. I have a team of producers that score the music and sound effects. Movies for the ears is our style. And we've closed 6 licensing partnerships so far. We have 40 more that are getting uploaded at the moment, licensing partnerships. We're just in talks with the biggest audio story platform in the world. And we have another person who is looking to sell our she does acquisitions and she's pitching our library to a whole bunch of other massive companies like airlines, schools, libraries across North America, etc. And that will help turn Magic Kids into a household name, and I can guarantee our revenue is gonna freaking skyrocket in the next 12 to 24 months as a result of all these licensing partnerships bringing to us so many people. So many people, and not just people, revenue. Each one of those is connected to revenue. And so if you have a really high quality audio library, or if you have really high quality courses that could potentially align with a governing body in your particular niche or field, or other course platforms that sell lots of courses in your style. I'm thinking of like the Shift Network. Then you can license your body of work, and I recommend non-exclusively, so you can license the same stuff across many platforms, and you're set. You don't need to grow an audience. They grow it for you. The algorithm is not rigged on these apps. They're looking for the best, most popular content to rise to the top so that people stay happy in the app. It's not like social media where you got to pay to play. You get paid to play once you get your foot in the door. And the good news for you is, one, you can check out my audio library at bradleymorrismeditations.com to see what I've built. Here's a bunch of the apps that I'm currently on right now. And number two, I have a training that it's a 4 month training called the Business of Transformation. It's included in my Magic Media library, and I teach you all about licensing. You get access to all my templates for outreach. I have a spreadsheet with over 100 different apps that you can pitch and license your stuff to, and presto, away you go. You start generating money. It grows every single month, and you win. And you don't need to be on social media. Hooray! So I highly recommend you do world-class stuff. You get paid like a pro. Okay? That's the deal. Next up, guest appearances. Now, here's a caveat. I think every single one of you should have a podcast. Every single person needs a podcast who is in some form of coaching, thought leadership, etc. It's so easy to set up. We have a Substack made simple course in my Magic Media course library. You could be set up in less than a day, and then you have a platform to share your voice, and that is a powerful thing. Everybody, all the business coaches for years have been saying, go on a podcast tour, get on as many podcasts as you can. And I just want to say it's a flawed plan. Podcasts don't grow your email list and they typically don't generate much revenue. It's a nice thing to do. It helps to build your brand recognition, your exposure. But, and there's a big but here, when people are listening to a podcast, they're passive consumers. They're driving, they're washing dishes, they're out for a walk. And then at the end of the podcast, the person's like, where can people check you out? And you're like, hey, my website's magicmedia.com. Come on over. I'm happy to support you. And then nobody does it. For example, last year, I had a podcast on the $100 MBA. Awesome podcast, very popular. We had 120,000 downloads of the episode in the first week. I was like, man, that's going to do something. It did not do something. It was literally like, it was crickets. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. Like 20 emails joined my list that week. However, 2 weeks after the podcast went out, I taught this workshop for that audience, and I had 500 or 600 people join my email list as a result of that. That goes to tell you the power of the signature workshop. However, having a podcast is great because what I do is I'll reach out to podcast hosts, be like, "Yo, I've got this thriving business without social media workshop. Do you want to host it?" They say yes. It's like, great. Do you want to have me on the podcast to promote the free workshop first? And they say yes. If they say no, I say, cool. Do you want to have me on your podcast instead? So I downsell them to their podcast. And then usually they'll be like, sure, that sounds great. We'll talk about the whole thing that you do in your workshop, but we'll just do it that way and not a workshop. Way better strategy, way more effective. However, you need to have a podcast because your podcast will open so many doors. You reach out to people with much bigger audiences than you invite them on your podcast, you have an inspiring conversation, you share the podcast with them, they share the podcast with their audience. You then say, yo, I've got this workshop. Would you host me for the workshop? I really loved it. Can we do some more stuff together? And hopefully they say yes. Relationships, baby. It's all relationships. We need to play the long game, not the quick fix game that we've been trained to do of like, I need it now. We need to embrace the long game of cultivating meaningful relationships with people and to show that we care and we're not just in it for a quick payout. Amen, right? Can I get an amen? Hopefully I can. So, next up, guest appearances, profit sharing. Profit sharing transformed my business. So, Majik Media has a creative agency side of things. We build mighty networks. We do audio and video production. We can set up your Substack for you, set up your tech. We can help you bring you to Salt Spring Island, and you can have a 2-day retreat with me where we map out your entire business model. We can build you a custom app, etc. All of these things are very expensive sometimes to do if you're hiring a service and we're working for 6 months on your project. And so years ago, I had this idea because somebody came to me and they couldn't afford my rates. And so I said, listen, how about you pay me a retainer that just covers my bases, but it doesn't really pay me what I want to be paid for this project. And we get a revenue share for 3 years. And instead of this like little fixed 4 to 6 month project, I'm going to be on your team for the next 3 years. And my team's your team, and we're going to do this thing together. And that launch, just the launch alone, the pre-sales before we even opened the gates to this mighty network generated over $400,000 in a week. And I made a nice, sweet $100,000 bonus. And I said, good golly, we should keep doing that. And so that's what we've done. We continue to do these types of revenue share partnerships. Not always, only if it's a right fit, only if the potential's there now, because we've done enough of them to know that like sometimes it's got to be a really right fit for people. Um, and yeah, it's transformed my entire business model. So if you have a service agency and maybe you're not full to capacity, but you find projects that you're really excited to work on, and they don't have the budget to pay your full pop, you can do a retainer. That means you're not going to lose money, but you get that sweet bonus if things go really well, and you get a rev share. And I teach this in one of my partnership courses inside the Majik Media course library, all about it's a whole course designed on the different partnerships we're talking about here. Gives you a deeper dive into the specific strategies, contracts, negotiations, all the things that you're going to need to figure out that I've figured out over years of doing this and a whole bunch of partnerships. You can also check out our case studies when you go to our services page at magicmedia.com, MAJIK media.com. But profit sharing is an amazing way because it's a great way to just like figure out again that sweet spot of like, hey, you can't afford my rates, but hey, what if we did it this way? What if we tried to work together and our team became your team and we built something that we couldn't even imagine right now because we're just going to do it together. And that's it's a beautiful thing. Okay, so next strategy for you, collaborations. This is a little bit different than partnerships. Um, so I've built my entire company upon collaborative partnerships. My first two business partners, I couldn't afford to pay them what they were worth when we built this online course called the Great E-Course Adventure, Green Screen Magic, the Art of Binge-Worthy Courses, and Going Mighty. These were like really epic entertainment-based online courses for entrepreneurs. They were many months of production and development. And what we did instead of me paying them a salary was like, hey, why don't we be business partners on this thing? And, everybody wins if we win. And so that was how I got my media guy, tech guy, designer, etc. back in the day. And I've done that quite a few times around collaborations. Even the craft and tour your signature workshop training with Tad, that is a collaboration. He gets a percentage on every sale. He's teaching 2 of the 8 classes. I'm teaching 6 of the 8 classes. I get a higher percentage, but he also promotes it to his audience. When I was teaching, leading adventure retreats around the world, I always had a fellow collaborator who would help do some of the work, promote to their people, and help facilitate some of the experiences so I could have a little bit of time out or just enjoy whatever the adventures were that we are on. I love collaborations. If you see a way for us to collaborate, don't be shy. Reach out to me because collaborations are such a beautiful way to create this alchemy. You make this magical thing that's not possible if we just stick to our own lanes. Magic Kids, our story and audio entertainment company, we have over 300 artist collaborators. Mm, Close to half of those are on our get paid royalties. And and we're making the best stories possible. We're building the best music library possible. Why? Because we're collaborating with beautiful people who have a shared vision and mission as us. And we're doing it in an affordable revenue share model kind of way. And I highly recommend you think more collaboratively. If we want the world to survive, collaboration is key. Staying in your isolated silo is going to destroy your business in the long run, okay? Because the game is rigged on social media. It's not the way forward anymore. Next up, hope you're enjoying your intervention. Affiliate marketing. Hooray! Affiliate marketing. So a lot of the people that host my signature workshop will become affiliates. If they sell my Magic Mind membership, then they'll get 20% of sales for as long as that person stays in. Or if they sell my craft and tour your signature workshop program, I'll pay them 500 bucks. Why? Because I'd rather give them $500 than Mark Zuckerberg in ads. Period. I would rather make my friends and colleagues rich than those social media tech giants and billionaires. True story, true story. In order for affiliate marketing to work, and this is one of the things that we teach you in my program, is you need to have a really well organized media page so that it's super simple to they say, yes, I want to promote your thriving in business without social media workshop. I want to host it. Yay. And I say, great, go to this page. There's a booking link, there's an affiliate sign up link, and there's 3 pre-written emails and 5 pre-written social media posts that you can copy, paste, and use to promote the workshop coming up. There's also some other information about me for my bio in case you're looking for fuel on how to describe me to your people. It's just really simple. It's all in one place. And we teach you to do that and build that. And when you get it right, it makes it really easy for people to become your fans and promote your stuff. With playchiball.com, our handball game, we have a Chi Ambassador program that people can earn money and swag. We're building a whole merch line of hats and shirts and inspiring messages on the shirts and all sorts of other stuff. It's our big fall winter project, but we have a whole system set up that's what you can do so that we can build super fans that want to spread the game to the world and they want to get paid in perks or cash. So it's a great system. It's been around for a long time and it works if you're organized and you give your affiliates a heads up of like 4 to 6 months out from your launch, you reach out to them, not 2 weeks before the launch. Next up, sponsorships. This is something we've played with at Magic Kids, finding people. If you're hosting a local event, find local sponsors that want to be affiliated with your thing. They might donate some money, they might donate product or food for exposure and helping to collaborate. They could be present at the thing. We did a big Chi Ball festival last year on Salt Spring Island to launch the game, and we got a whole bunch of local sponsors. We got cash, we had things donated, prizes, etc. It's awesome. Everybody wins. Next up, strategic partnerships. So finding like, hey, we have this, you have that. What if we did this together? For example, Soul Shop, top of the list right here for Magic Kids. They go into schools. They've been doing this for 20 years. They do social emotional learning stuff. They do uh, peace in the playground programs. And they came to Magic Media to help them build their app. And then it became very clear of like, hey, you don't need an app. Why don't we collaborate? And we have a listening mode and a learning mode inside the Magic Kids app. And I was like, we could put all your stuff inside learning mode, and all of the kids who you sell your programs to the schools, all the students at those schools could access the Magic Kids app for a year, and we get paid a percentage of their programs they sell in the school system. And they have their own app, which is our app, and our app's because better because their stuff's on it, and their app would be better because our stuff's on it. It's a win all around. We have a bunch of other conversations happening with really big organizations right now to leverage what we've built, to leverage those audiences, and to find the sweet spots. Now, in order to figure out strategic partnerships, we need to reclaim our time so we actually have the presence and capacity to sit with the question of like, what do I have to offer this company that I'm really inspired by? And I have definitely done a lot of cold outreach and feel very comfortable doing that now. I can pick up a phone and call a company and talk to their whoever the gatekeeper is and get them giggling and laughing and smiling, which is the goal of any first conversation. And that usually leads on to bigger conversations. So this stuff takes thought, and that's why I host retreats at my home here in the studio so that people can come spend 2 days in nature doing saunas and asking the big questions and mapping out your business. So you go home and you know what your roadmap is. Next, Free Coaching Fridays. This started as an experiment. If you get my newsletter or you're watching this on YouTube, wherever you're watching it, I will have a link below the video that will have you can join one of my 15-minute Coaching Fridays. This started as a 30-day experiment to see how I like it, of like just giving away free coaching, and I loved it. And so I've been doing it for like a year and a half. A lot of people have joined my programs because I give them these massive breakthroughs during these coaching sessions. I also just Tad Hargrave from Marketing for Hippies does these coaching sessions, like puttering sessions. And I thought that was super cool. I was like, well, what could my puttering session be? Because for him, he's like cleaning the house and just kind of like puttering around the house. Well, he does coaching sessions. He doesn't have to be on Zoom. It's just on the phone. I was like, well, I walk my dog every day, twice a day. So I created a program called Bonkers Breakthrough Sessions where people get discounted coaching with me while I'm out walking my dog. I don't have to be on Zoom. I'm doing something that's more convenient. So I've helped a couple people. One of the Magic Mind members, she's doing Walk with Fran coaching sessions where she can be out on a walk and doing that. Somebody else is doing beach walk coaching sessions, and it's discounted coaching, but it's while doing something that you want to be doing anyways, or would be doing if you weren't working. It's a great little intro thing, and I've really been loving it. So if you want a bonkers breakthrough coaching session, go to magicmedia.com/coaching, and you can learn all about that there. Next up, everybody forgets to ask their friends and family for support, but if you're doing cool work, you could reach out to people that love you and just say, "Hey, I'm launching this program. There's no pressure whatsoever, but if you know anybody struggling with this, here's a link. Feel free to forward this on. It could be really useful and helpful." Don't be shy. It's okay to ask for help because that's how you get help. Next, YouTube Shorts. For me, social media and YouTube are different things. YouTube is entertainment and education. I've been making videos since 2007 on YouTube. My first video ever went viral. I did speaking tours for 2 years because of it. You can check it out on YouTube called The Gratitude Dance. YouTube Shorts, YouTube's trying to keep up with TikTok. And so a short is like a video that's recorded like this. It's under 60 seconds. I use an editor called CapCut, and you can have a lot of fun making fun, cool videos. We did well, I'll get into this story in a minute, but YouTube Shorts, check it out. You should start making YouTube Shorts. It's fun. Next, comedy. So this was the the one that I was about to say, but I didn't want to till we got to this slide. So for Magic Kids, I've been making comedy for many, many years. I love sketch comedy. I love comedy ads. And so last year we hired the Harmon Brothers for about 9 months. They're the biggest, one of the biggest best comedy ads agencies in the world. They're amazing. If you know the Squatty Potty commercial, the unicorn that poops out rainbows for the poo stool, we hired their team of comedy writers, and then my team and I produced the comedy ads that we wrote with them. And we did 31 comedy ads. We got over 2 million views. A lot of app subscribers came in through that. And those still are generating traffic for us and subscriptions, and they're ready to pour ads money on anytime we want to on YouTube. So if you love comedy, carve out a day, a week where you could spend 2 hours just making comedy videos. Uh, you can go to majikkids.com/comedy if you want to check out some of our comedy videos to get some inspiration. MAJIK kids.com/comedy, or you'll find a comedy button on the website and you can check out those. Comedy is a great way to go. I highly recommend it, and you'll have a lot of fun with your friends. My son and I co-wrote half of those comedy ads together, and he acted in probably 20 or more out of the 31. What a cool thing to do with your kid. And he is learning videographer skills. He's learning to edit at the age of 9 because I'm okay with him using technology for the sake of creating. I just don't want to raise a consumer. You know what I mean? There's a big difference between raising empowered creators who can be resourceful and creative and make magic in the world versus raising somebody who's just consuming nonstop. So comedy, make comedy. Next, workshop tour. It's a really big one. Back in the day when I was teaching meditations, I would just go on these annual workshop tours. I'd pick a city. Edmonton, Alberta was one of the cities I often visited, and I would call ahead months in advance and reach out to all the yoga studios and be like, hey, this is who I am. I want to teach this 90-minute intro workshop. And then I have a day-long workshop at the end of the week. And I would do 5 to 7 intro workshops. They would charge $20 to $30 per session. And the studios would usually keep 30, 40% of the ticket sales. They would promote it all for me so I could show up to a new city and fill up a space. And then um, and then I would sell, inside of that workshop, I'd do a reduced rate for my audio library. So I'd sell it for like 40% off, 60% of the room always bought. And then I would probably sell about 20% of the room would buy my day long workshop at the end of the week. And I'd come home and I would have pockets full of money. So if you have a city within 100 kilometers or 100 miles of you that you've got a friend that you could go bum their couch for a week or so, target it, book a date 3 to 6 months out, make a list. It's really easy to go into ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm going to Toronto, Ontario. Give me a list of, 50 yoga studios, spiritual wellness centers, etc., in the vicinity of like within 15 kilometers of Toronto. Go, and you'll get 50 within 3 seconds. And you just make a spreadsheet, you start reaching out, pitching your workshop, you book as many as you can in that week-long period, and you'll do great. You just got to make sure that they're willing to promote the event for you, and you figure out a revenue share. So hopefully that gives you some inspiration. Tours are fun. You get to travel, you get paid. It's great. Next up, press releases. We've done some really beautiful press releases for Magic Kids and Play Chi Ball to announce the games. And we did one press release just before Christmas last year. And we were really surprised. A pretty small newspaper or media place out of, oh, where were they? out of Victoria picked up the story on Play Chi Ball, and it wasn't even like uh, a physical article. It was in like their digital newspaper thing, and so they put that out, and we had like from this one press release, we had like 35 sales the week before Christmas. And so this is the press release we sent to them. You know, it's pretty, it's got some pictures, it tells our story, and and they picked it up and we got interviewed and then they launched it and away we go. We had 35 sales. So, you know, when was the last time you reached out to local media and told them the story of what you're doing? Uh, and it can work really really well, and obviously it doesn't always work, but it's worth investing a couple hours to make a nice press release and send it out to your local media. Here's a bunch of others that we've done. So, selling in retail stores, you have physical products, markets, and trade shows. Probably 90% of our book sales have come through markets and trade shows for Magic Kids. Doing local events, I've been saying this for years. Go local. Everybody's trying to get on the internet right now, and there's so much opportunity in your local vicinity to build your village and to get paid well to serve the people right around you. You don't need to go global. Trust me. I've been going global for 20 years, and local is just as powerful and awesome and has so much opportunity right now. Finding local partners to collaborate with, generosity marketing. So that one's pretty cool. We shipped out at the launch of Magic Kids. We ended up sending out 500 free books. We reached out to 10 companies that we've really liked and loved what they did to build relationships with them. We sent books to all of the parents on those teams. That was actually how we got our foot in the door with the Harmon brothers. Is we sent a big box of 120 books to all the parents on their teams, and they were super grateful. That led to a conversation that led to me begging them to work with us, and then we did a contract for 9 months with them, and the rest is history. So, generosity marketing. Do you have something you could give away to an organization that's aligned and figure out a partnership? It's a beautiful thing. So, I'm not saying that social media is terrible, even though it's pretty terrible. It can work for you if you have a clear strategy, a publishing schedule, like you're consistent and regular, you're super disciplined, and like you only post and then you don't go on it again until tomorrow. If you can't do that, it's probably not for you. And if you must do it, hire a freaking team. But even better than hiring a social media team is to hire a signature workshop tour manager, which we have a job posting and job description, all the skills necessary that I know a whole bunch of people have already been using who have gone through that training that I've coached, and hire somebody to do that instead of your social media because you'll get way more return on your investment of hiring somebody to manage your signature workshop tour than you will have them managing your social media, because you know if they're managing your social media, they're doing a ridiculous amount of mindless scrolling and just looking at stupid shit that's not aligned with your business. So that's what I would suggest. And the moral of this story is also just make your work art. You know, if you want to stand out in the sea of sameness, you got to do work that's professional, that's unique, that is you, that feels like you, that comes across as you, and learn to marry that inner artist that you have with that entrepreneur, that creator, that healer, that teacher that you are. And, you know, we've built 20 something mighty networks over the years. If you like elements of social media, but you want your own platform, I really recommend Mighty Networks. I think it's the best platform. I think it's way better than Circle or any of the others that are out there, like School. You can live stream, you can build course libraries. There's infinite different types of business models you can do. It's a forum, it's community. You can have masterminds. This is what the Magic Mind is based in. Years ago, I flew down to California and I consulted with the Mighty Networks team to help them build their course features and gamification features, which they're now finally rolling out. And then we produced the Going Mighty course with them, which we're updating right now to include all the new features. Mighty Networks is an amazing platform. It's beautiful. More and more people are on it. A lot of the biggest people in the personal growth and business coaching space are now switching over to Mighty Networks. We can build your Mighty Network for you. Reach out and we can do that for you. And I don't think you'll ever look back. So, my encouragement for you today is give yourself a gift and reevaluate your marketing strategy. What are you actually doing? What is your strategy right now? And is it working? Decide what's working for you and what's not working for you in your life and your business. Spend a day making a new plan. If you want to make a plan, come to Salt Spring Island or hire me for a day of coaching. We can break it up on Zoom over the course of 2 or 3 sessions and let's make some freaking magic. Because if you're struggling and spinning the wheels, chances are you're just not clear enough on a plan that aligns with who you are, the life you want to be living, and what you're doing in the world. And we could make that plan in a day and away you go. And with clarity comes confidence. With confidence comes presence and power. And those are the things that are going to generate wealth for you and your business and create the success that you've been envisioning and working towards in your life. Next, leave social media if you must. I recommend leaving, but not before you get all this stuff set up. And the last thing I just want to say on these notes is protect your consciousness. There, I don't know if you know this, but it kind of feels like there's some spiritual, psychological warfare taking place with humanity right now, and most of it's happening on social media. Humanity's attention is being hijacked through fear, and it's your responsibility to protect what's coming in here, what you are consuming, so that you can stay in your sovereign power. I'm not perfect, but that is definitely something that I am very aware of and been aware of for years. And you should be aware of it too if you're unconscious of that right now. So protect your consciousness, protect what you're letting in, what belief systems you're allowing to control your perspective of the world, of humanity, of other people, because it's very, very divisive and it's also dangerous. And what we need more than anything right now is to unite. And what we need more than anything is people to be in their presence and their power so that we can be truly of service right now as the world crumbles around us and we're here to rebuild the new one. So I hope that resonates. I got one little exercise for you right now, and that is to take 2 minutes, choose two of the strategies that we went through today, and give yourself 2 months to implement them. So I encourage you to do that as soon as we log off here. 2 minutes, two strategies, 2 months. Reach out to me if you have questions. That's what I'm here for. I have a PDF that will be in the show notes of today's session for thriving in business without social media, all the different techniques that we talked about today. I'm going to encourage you to join the Craft and Tour, your signature workshop training. You know, the cost of admission is worth it completely. You know, you close one coaching client and you've paid for it, and you're going to stop guessing on how you grow your business. You're going to have a clear roadmap, and a year from now, you're going to have delivered 20, hopefully 40 plus signature workshops to other people's audiences, and that's going to grow your email list by thousands of people without spending a dime, unless they hire a signature workshop tour manager, which is a pretty minimal expense considering the return, and that will completely and forever change your business. You can access that plus quarterly coaching sessions with me one-on-one, plus 3 coaching calls per week where we dig deep into your business inside my Magic Mind community. This is an intimate container. I don't like big masterminds. You know, you come onto a Magic Mind call and you might have 4 people, you might have 12 people. Uh, the forum is very supportive for everybody to you share your work, your websites, your copy, you get feedback and support in real time so that you can fly forward. So join the Magic Mind. We have 2 different pricing offerings. The one, if you just want my course library, and a monthly workshop that I teach is $249 a month. And if you want the quarterly coaching plus the weekly coaching sessions, that's $497. And if in the next 48 hours you join with that coupon code over on the side, biz-without-social-100, you can get $100 off. And that would be helpful, right? I like a good deal. Who doesn't? And if you're not into communities and programs, apply for one-on-one coaching. We can figure something out. Come to Salt Spring Island, or we can work together online. Ultimately, my goal is to help you bring your magic to the world. That's what I've been doing for a long time. That's what I'm really great at. And I would love to support you in all the ways that I possibly can and my team possibly can. So don't be shy. Reach out, ask questions. That's what I'm here for. That's what we're here for. And I hope that this has been helpful. And when you see the link of this recording, please share it on social media because I can't, I'm not there. I would love your help. And if you ever want to host this workshop for your audience, reach out to me over at magicmedia.com. that would be super fun. And I'd love to bring this magic to them. So thank you. I really appreciate your time, your presence, your energy for being here today. And um, just keep on going. Get your brain back off of social media and lean into relationships. That's the way forward. I promise you that. It will change everything for you. You're going to learn a lot and you will be much more fulfilled on the daily basis doing the work that you're here to do. So stay off.